All right, so Bitcoin is having a little pullback right here. While that's not really the thing that I would worry about myself necessarily, it's, I think, pretty much expected that Bitcoin should go down a little bit. But I want to take a look at the altcoin market. A lot of people will be thinking like, oh, here comes the altcoin bear again. And yeah, let's discuss how the altcoin market is looking, because Bitcoin has the room to go down. Altcoins basically, yeah, with a little fart, it's that altcoins should be in a pretty big fall. So let's take a look at that. Bitcoin, the dominance has been going, you know, basically, yeah, it went up, it went down, and now it's going a little sideways. But if we really zoom in over the last couple of days, you see that it went from around, you know, 49.7 till 50, where we are right now. It was even ranging quite a lot more than 50, but 50% at the moment exactly. Now, when we look at Bitcoin, I feel like it's not that weird, right? It's not that weird. I mean, Bitcoin broke out of this complete range right here, this red box that I've drawn right here, and it was spending, you know, quite some time above it, and it finally has some kind of a pullback right here. And this is the first little pullback for now. On the weekly, it's not even that interesting. I think it's safe to say that, yeah, at a certain point, definitely 28.5 should be something to look out for, in my opinion. However, if we take a look at the total 3, this is where it gets a little, yeah, too bad for altcoin holders, because, you know, we have, of course, drawn this line, this parallel channel, that or parallel channel, this falling wedge basically, where altcoins have been in since the bear market started. You also know that if you look at Bitcoin, it broke out of that in January, while altcoins finally, if it's not a fake out, managed to do that in July. So it was running at least 7 months behind, but nevertheless, we finally broke out. But as I said before as well, a breakout doesn't necessarily have to mean that we're straight going to the moon, and I don't want to confuse people with that, because in the last bear market we had the same thing, right? We had a breakout right here. All with all, that was February 2019. All with all, in March 2020, the altcoin market made a lower low, right? Slightly lower, but still lower. But even if you want to call it a double bottom, overall we still went sideways for a year. Right, for a year. And people that thought like, oh, let's buy the breakout, alt season, this and that. If you bought here, you got a better entry even anyway, right? Unless you're a trader, you could, of course, greatly trade this, as this was a very big run for the altcoin market. But in the end of the day, year in this case, we ended up lower. So it could definitely mean that although we have this breakout right here, we could still be looking for lower lows or a double bottom or slightly higher low, whatever, in, let's say, mid 2024. Right, that's still, it's not that I'm saying that that will happen, but it definitely is a possibility. It happened before, right? So why not? However, if I take a look at this suggests that the altcoin market is in a little trouble right now, and maybe it's too soon to say, so I want to see how this plays out. But I'm talking about the bull market support band right here, because the bull market support band, this red and green, this is the 2021 weekly moving average, is what keeps a asset up or down in a bull or bear market. And as you can see, this band has been pushing us down since the bear market started, right? Every time we come there, we could have these fake outs above. End of the day, we struggle there, go down, try again, go down, try again, go down, try again. Well, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Even here, where we broke above it in January, we even fell down below it again in April. So you really want to see a clear, strong breakout from that moving averages. And it's not what we got right now. We got in the week of Ripple, right? The SEC news about Ripple, we got a good push. But, you know, half of that push was a fake out, right? We fell back in the bull market support band. Last week we went all places, but we ended up closing in it, and this week we basically fall right out of it already again. So it shows like the altcoin market has so much trouble at the moment. If you look at Bitcoin, for example, Bitcoin is, you know, it broke above that band clearly also in January, and we had our first retest in March, perfect bounce off of that, and we had a second retest here in June, also quite perfect bounce off of that, right? And now Bitcoin is correcting. Man, it can go to 28.5 and we are still safe, right? So Bitcoin has the room and then it bounces, right? But the altcoin market, it doesn't really even bounce because we did not have that, you know, obvious breakout yet. So therefore I am, you know, still very cautious when it comes to alts, because it can definitely be that we get pushed lower by a lot still. And yeah, when I said that like 2 weeks ago we were here, or a couple of weeks ago, people said like, oh, you're crazy, you're too much FUD. Yeah, at the end of the day, what did we do? Even with the XRP news, we confirmed another lower high. That's what we did. So even if the huge XRP news that people have been waiting for years cannot even, you know, get us to at least break a little bit above that bull market support band or whatsoever, then how bullish is the altcoin market actually? What's interesting is that if you put this chart on the Fibonacci chart, right, the Fibonacci candles, the formula behind it is that this gives you an average of how the asset is moving, and it takes a bigger average of the weeks before that. Look it up, I'm not completely sure again, but it gives you a very good overview, like is the market bullish or bearish, right? And what I notice right now is that after these red candles, we had a couple of green candles, but now it shows that we get a lot of downwards momentum on these candles as well. Although they are still green, right? You can definitely see that it's been going down very hard, and I don't know how much room we have for another green candle if we keep up like this. So yeah, I'm cautious with altcoins at the moment, and but it's easy for me to say because I do already have a bag. I have leftovers since last year, and I have mainly bags in launch pads, and I'm not making money with these coins themselves, but to be allocated to participate in pre-sales, right? And new coins, you know, that's always different because they don't have money for people to already sell, which makes the token come down, of course. So, but other than that, I don't really have a lot of altcoins at the moment. And I think a way better time will come. Again, if you look on altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, and we put it on the normal chart to put it like that, right? What you see is, let me remove this by the way. What you see is this, that altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, they finally, like here, this is where the bear market started, here. Here's where the bear market started, right? And altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, they were holding up. Like there was no problem. They were just going sideways. No, you know, in the meantime, up and down, the overall sideways. And especially since this year, we, you know, really got slapped down, right? So altcoins are really losing against Bitcoin right here. So if you were in Bitcoin right here, instead of altcoins, you at least would have made money, but at best, right, not lost money. However, apart from your exceptions, of course, right? These are always there. However, I still feel like, man, what if, right? What if Bitcoin really comes down now, right? Because Bitcoin went down right here. And that's the reason altcoins went down. But altcoins did not went down hard yet, right? And you might look at some altcoins and be like, well, they're 90% down. You know, last bear market, altcoins went down 80%, another 80%, and from there, another 80%. That's wrecked, right? Now it's just wrecked. That's all right. Right, so I feel like, man, if now altcoins are bleeding against Bitcoin and now Bitcoin goes down, that's when you really will see altcoins going down. And it hasn't happened yet. And therefore, a lot of people feel like, ah, man, you stop voting altcoins. But it's what happened last time. So it's not really weird to think that it happens. And like the cycle is, it's creepy how how similar it is so far, basically. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. Now, I saw someone on Twitter. Let me show you this. Oh yeah, by the way, Twitter is now called X. So fucking Elon doesn't know what he wants. Anyway, I see some guys tweeting this, right? There's quite of a big, well, not big, but quite big. And he's basically suggesting right here that altcoins should go up and that the dominance should go down, right? He's saying, yeah, here the stochastic RSI was that high, and what happened after that, it went down, and now it's that high and it went down. But you should know how to read your charts, okay? Because if you look at that kind of stuff and you put it on the monthly right here, you'll see that indeed here it was quite high, right? Here it was quite high. How long are we this overbought right now? For like 1, 2, 3, 4 months, give or take, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 or something like that. So right here, give or take, right? This is where we are right now, basically. But what happened in the meantime, right? What happened in the meantime is from this candle on the Bitcoin dominance, we went up another 40%, right? The Bitcoin dominance here was sitting at around like 53% or so, right? Depends on where you draw that line. If you put it right here, you could say that we were sitting at 51, aka around the same level as where we are right now. But it still went all the way up to 73%. 73%, right? That's with these RSIs and these stochastic RSIs. You should never think that if it's overbought, that it's time to sell right away, right? Because if it stays here, this is where the upwards move really happens. Not if this is going up, right? If as long as it's here, the upwards move is enormous. So it can be still possible that the stochastic RSI stays here for a while, right? And then goes down. But in the meantime, the dominance goes up and then comes down. And that would be your alt season, right? But this would be your altcoins get fucking wrecked as fuck season, right? And a lot of people, they want an alt season. So they say, and they start to think that it's going to be an alt season because, yeah, they have a big altcoin back. So that's what they want. So that's what they see in the charts as well, right? But that's being a little too biased. Right, and I don't really care because if there's no alt season, I'm fine because I'm prepared in stables. But if there will be an alt season, I'm also fine because I have a lot of altcoins, and mainly because of these launchpad tokens, right? So I am fine with both scenarios. But I honestly, unbiasedly think that altcoins are going to get fucking wrecked still. Right, and I mean, of course I can be wrong, definitely. But so far, thinking that has really saved me quite some money as well, right? Because everybody that was saying alt season, they were buying altcoins, and in the meantime, the dominance went up and altcoins got wrecked. Where has it taken you so far? And then, yeah, you say, well, I was just DCAing. No, you were buying on the way down. It's not what you call DCAing necessarily. It's just buying at the wrong time and just holding on until you get a lower entry and then call it DCAing to make up for it, right? But yeah, no, I mean, you can always look at altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, right? But you can also look at Bitcoin on their on its altcoin pair, and that's quite interesting. For example, Gala showed you this before, and this is an interesting view, right? If you look at the Gala chart itself, you might feel like, well, is it that bad? I mean, Gala against Bitcoin, how much did it came down? Well, it came down 94%. Doesn't sound that bad, right? Well, if you sold your Bitcoin for your Gala for Bitcoin right here, that's basically this chart in the opposite direction, you know how much you would have made? You would have made, until we are right now, 17x, right? For having Bitcoin instead of Gala. So you're going way lower risk, and you make a 17x with it as well. So I'm really starting to trying to understand why people want to be in altcoins, right? It's exciting that I get, right? You have a chance of making an overnight 100x. That chance is like getting struck by lightning high, but still, it could happen. Yes, it could happen. But basically, every chart you check out showing you that this is not the time yet, right? I can't wait for the day that I'm going to be flipping really bullish on altcoins again. don't get me wrong. I mean, altcoins can still, well, basically already did, right? Because it can go up against Bitcoin like this, right? Can go down here, which is altcoins going up, but it already kind of went there. So it already had its retest. And now I'm curious to see, okay, can it go much higher? And it looks like it's quite bullish to me, if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, no, I mean, it's not really looking super great at the moment. Bitcoin took a hit right there, and again, the altcoin market also took a hit right there. And yeah, I don't want to rush into buying this kind of stuff right now. And it's not that bad. Like if you look, okay, we went lower than what we were before, but we now are back at where we were every single week in the last 2 months that we had, right? So, okay. However, I am starting to wonder, like, okay, we have to recover from this very quickly. Otherwise, what we had here as support will now be resistance, right? You don't see that on the daily chart yet, but if you put it, well, because it just happened, if you now put, here, if you now put it on the hour chart, you'll see this, right? We had a long history of support on this on this line, right? Especially here as well, but we now fell below it, and now the altcoin market really has to get back up, or this is going to turn into resistance, right? So yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. To wrap it up, look at some individual altcoins right here. Well, for example, Gala Bitcoin in this case. Gala, good project. I like Gala. Right, nothing wrong with Gala, and I think it's a good, well, maybe, but maybe it is a good long-term hold eventually. But still, against Bitcoin, yeah, I don't know, but it wasn't that long ago since it made lower lows again. So if a coin is constantly making lower lows, then why is it a good idea to buy right now, right? Because it's still in the process of making lower lows, right? That's not dollar costing. That's just buying, hoping that you caught the low. While everybody so far got wrecked because just like 2 weeks ago, there was a new lower low, right? And a lot of altcoins look stronger. I mean, I can also look at Altora looking super strong. Engine Starter, way stronger than average. Illuvium is not the example. I mean, IMX, you know, came from way lower than where it is right now. Nakamoto Games was absolutely ripping, right? So there are, of course, exceptions. But overall, if I look at the altcoin market in general, and we put it on the weekly, I still look at this like, okay, making lower highs. Trouble with the bull market support band right there. Altcoins on their Bitcoin pair are basically in a freaking free fall right now. Doesn't mean it can bounce in the meantime, of course, right here, like we did right here before we went down even further, but they are going down, right? Bitcoin, I haven't seen a decent pullback yet this year, right? So I would be like shocked if that doesn't happen, right? Bitcoin is not only up. The S&P, right? Mooning right now. The NASDAQ mooning right now, right? Probably Microsoft new highs. Like once these are going to retrace, like there's so much with the recession coming up probably. There's so much telling me like, dude, be careful. Because at a certain point, people, they feel like, okay, fuck it. Altcoins, they're too strong. Let's buy them right now. And then the market is going to take you by surprise and it fucks you right out of the market, man. It's just what happens. The total crypto market cap, everything right here, looking a bit stronger, of course, right? Finding support at the bull market support bands right now. So that's looking better. Right? The total 2, however, if we take Bitcoin away, then we have the total 2. It's now in it. So if you take Bitcoin away, it's already a lot weaker. And if you then take a look at the total 3, so you take Bitcoin and Ethereum away, it's under it. So it shows Bitcoin is outperforming. If you don't count that, then Ethereum is outperforming. And if you don't count that, then you have the altcoin market. But the charts obviously show you altcoins are losing the battle for more than half a year right now. And it's no sign yet that it's showing any kind of strength. Like I said, Ripple was so long expected and the news was so good and everybody was bullish. And what did it do? A fake out right here, right? A fake out of 6%. We got slapped back down and we're now lower than where we were. I mean, what does it take? Come on, let's be serious. So, yeah, it's just not good at the moment. I don't know, man. And you always want to be careful. If I look at this monthly chart, you see the stochastic RSI also going up, right? And if you, for example, compare it to here, you also see it going up. And you might feel like, oh, but when we go up, the price actually goes up as well. But what happens right here, it didn't take much for the stochastic to have a little, like this little piece of shit correction right here, did cause a lower low on the altcoin market, all right? So I'm just looking at this, but I feel like, yeah, it's showing bullish momentum here, but here it shows also that it doesn't mean shit. So yeah, that's why I want to wrap it up, guys. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. See you soon.